Three, two, one. William Arthur Ward was an American motivational speaker and writer. He once wrote, "A mediocre teacher tells, a good teacher explains, a superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires." I believe I fall somewhere in that spectrum of teachers. So, and I'm always working towards the latter, okay? Right, with that in mind, let's take a look at class from last week. So we did our intro speeches last week, and there was some really great work, okay? There's a couple of things I want to make sure that we talk about, though. And one is the audience. I know some of you didn't have an audience, and remember that I can provide an audience for you if you let me know, all right? So it's important in a public speaking class that we are making our public speeches look like public speeches, and the only way we can do that is to have an audience member. The second thing I want to talk about those intro speeches is the placement, and I know some of you got that in your notes, that there were some placement issues. Make sure that you are filming from at least the waist up, okay? And that when you are delivering your speech, you're speaking to your audience members like I'm doing right now, okay? All right, and then the last thing about that is the outline. Some of you turned in an outline. Remember, it was extra credit. You didn't have to. And there was some good work with those outlines. We're going to learn specifically how to do outlines this week. So there's a little bit about last week. Let's take a look at this week. So this week, there's no speech. So that's good. But we are working on constructing our first speech. And if you look in Module 2, it's got all the information for this week. So look at Module 2, and you'll see that there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're working on this week. We have a couple of assignments to turn in, but a lot of stuff to learn. The first thing I want you to look at is how we work on, how we construct, and how we deliver introductions, transitions, and conclusions. You'll find a PowerPoint in Module 2 on introductions, transitions, and conclusions. Make sure you go through that PowerPoint and send me an email if you have some questions about that. There's also an assignment about introductions, transitions, and conclusions. It's called Sample Introductions, Transitions, and Conclusions. So make sure that you get that done. If you have questions about that assignment, make sure you send me an email, because I want to make sure that you have a clear understanding of that assignment. Another assignment we have this week is outlining draft, okay? And so that is putting together a good outline, and I don't care if it has to do with your speech or if it has to do with something else. But if you look at the document organizing and speaking tool, it goes through how to do an outline, and it has a sample there of a good outline. I want to make sure that we are really good outline makers by the time that this class is over this quarter. Another thing you'll see in Module 2 is effective use of voice, and you'll see a document that goes through how to specifically use different parts of our voice to make sure that our audience understands what we're talking about. And there's also a PowerPoint that goes over that same information. So if you need it in a different format, there's two different ways for you to get that information. There's another PowerPoint in Module 2 that addresses anxiety and fear. So make sure you take a look at that, especially if you're having some anxiety about speaking in front of people. It'll maybe help you feel a little bit more at ease. And the last thing in Module 2 that's really important for you to look at is a document that's called Characteristics of Good Delivery. So my colleague put together this document, just has some good pointers on how to make sure that your delivery is well done. So that's what's going on this week. Let's take a look at some other information, so some extra information. So I want to remind you that I have student office hours, so every Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. and from noon to 1 o'clock. So I'm in there, I'm on Zoom, so make sure if you have questions about stuff that you check with me and get some clarity on either material or assignments. The second thing is, do you need an audience? I know some of you do. And so if you need an audience, I can put an audience together for you. We just need to make sure we have a good time and that we have, and I have plenty of time to do that. I know that I'm assembling an audience for Thursday, January 18th at 1 o'clock for one of your classmates. So if you need an audience, let's make sure that you, if you can, make that time, and we can put you on that day also, so that you have an audience member to speak to for your public speaking class. The main thing is let me know, and I need some time to be able to put an audience together and to reserve a room. So they don't let us just go into any classroom. I have to reserve that room, and to do that, it takes a little bit of time. Okay, so there's some information about last week, and some information about this week, and some extra information. So Mr. Ingham, my 6th grade teacher, inspires me to this day. He's long gone since left this earth, but his words continue to affect a lot of other people, the people that were in his classroom. Words matter, and he made them count. I hope that you do too.